Welcome to Musical Miles Podcast, where live music and great stories take center stage. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Teton Guitars. Whether you're picking tunes around a campfire or taking the stage at your favorite honky tonk, Teton Guitars delivers rich, soulful sound built for the journey. Learn more at tetonguitars.com. Now let's dive into some music and memories.
Hey, music lovers, welcome to Musical Miles Podcast. I'm your host, Byron Duffin, and I am here with Mr. Cale Moon.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for taking the time. Listen, we're in Pocatello, Idaho at some friends' home, of friends of Cale's home, and it's beautiful. This is a cool little bar they've got set up here in their house, and they've been so gracious to let us hang out here and have a little conversation. So,
yeah, it's a pretty fun place. I won't tell you where it is.
No.
But I'm usually here.
Well,
Find me.
it was hard
I'm
to
in the
get him.
unfindable place.
It was hard to get him to tell us where it was at. So it was, but no, we're
Thanks
we're
for
here.
agreeing to the blindfold.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it was a little tricky driving with that blindfold on, but anyway,
Everybody needs a friend with their own bar. It's
There
like
you
a friend
go.
with a boat.
there you go. Well, listen, so we had the chance to actually, let's back up a little bit. It's probably been 10 or more years, but we saw Cale play the first time at Stingers in Blackfoot. Our friends Todd and Susan Jensen were running that bar at the time, had at least,
Fantastic people.
and they are great people. And we were talking with Susan last summer, and at the time, I think you were going to do a show in Bone, and that ended up getting canceled. But
No,
Susan,
we actually did it anyway.
oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, we missed it.
The numbers were a little down.
Yeah.
Because there was this other guy playing over in Idaho Falls, Scotty McCreary, and apparently he's more famous than me.
Then you, okay.
But just a little
Well, that's a trick. That's always a challenge, and we love Bone, and
That's
we love Amanda, and that is a cool venue. And we when she has stuff going on and we can make it, we definitely try and get up there. We did some great interviews there last summer. But anyway, back to Todd and Susan. I told them you were going to be there, and that was the plan. She said, "Will you make sure you tell him we said hello?" So they think the world of you.
I think the world of them as well.
But anyway, then you were in American Falls this week at Thursday nights all summer long. They have a Thursday night show.
Yeah, music in the park.
And music in the park there. And so you, we saw that you were coming, so I reached out to you, and you so graciously agreed to sit down with us so we could finally get this happen.
Yeah, I've
Make
been
this
wanting to
happen.
for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Well, thank you. Well, we're fans of yours, and once again, it's been cool to get to be able to sit down. We came to the show Thursday night and listened to your set all evening. You're a very talented musician, a great songwriter, and we just we'll just throw all kinds of compliments at you.
Stop. You're embarrassing. Stop.
Yeah, I can tell you're really embarrassed. So tell me your kind of your musical journey, because I know your family, you were born, you told me the other day you were born in Elko,
Mhm.
and then spent a big part of your life in the Tri-Cities of
I've been
Washington.
in Washington State. Yeah.
Okay.
Southeast corner.
But currently live in
Enterprise, Oregon.
Enterprise, Oregon on the
When
family
I'm not
range.
on the road.
When you're not on the road, right?
Yeah.
So, but let's back up a little bit. So, how long you been playing the guitar? When did you pick up the music thing?
I started playing guitar when I was 15, and I kind of jumped into it headlong. I got selected through a talent scout to join what's called the World Championships of Performing Arts, which is
wow.
basically set up like the Olympics, but for singers, dancers, models, etc.
Okay.
And at the time, I was more focused on acting. I'd been dabbling in acting since I was 11,
Okay.
and when they scouted me as an actor, I was always singing in the green room, because when I was 12, my voice shifted from this squeaky, high, annoying voice to this very low, monotone, annoying voice.
Okay.
And so right about the same time, Josh Turner was really one of the bigger stars.
Right.
And so I was always seeing Josh Turner.
Right.
And they're
Long
like,
black train.
"We're going to enter you as an actor, model, and a singer."
Okay.
And then they found out I'd written a couple songs,
Okay.
and that's worth extra points.
Wow.
So on the honor of Team USA, they wanted me to sing one of my originals to get those extra points. Problem was, I had to either learn to play the guitar or pay somebody to make a track for me, because they
Right.
don't like a cappella singers.
Oh, okay.
And I chose the cheaper option, which was a $200 Costco special,
Okay.
and learned to play it in about 3 months.
Oh, wow. Wow. I'm impressed. You learned to play the guitar in 3 months. I've been doing it for a year and a half, and I started at 15 too, but then didn't stick with it. I decided to rope instead of ride horses and
That was
travel.
probably a better decision.
Not
overall.
really,
Yeah.
probably not, but nonetheless, that's what I did. So you taught yourself to play the guitar in 3 months, at least to play the song that you wrote.
Yes, I got
Okay.
good enough to play 2 or 3 songs.
Okay.
And I caught the bug.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to another, and here I am with way too many guitars and still looking for more.
Sure.
And now I got my own recording studio, and I'm constantly looking for new and different ways to play the guitar, which weirdly means going to the past, because those guys were way more interesting.
Well, there are a lot of talented guitar players back in the day. I mean, you look at some of those, older country, Merle and
Yeah.
Waylon and Johnny and none of that. I shouldn't say. I mean, some of those I'm sure are a lot more complex in their guitar playing, but a lot of their songs are pretty basic. If you know
To an extent.
four
yes.
4 to 6 chords, you can play the cowboy chords. You can play most of their songs. That being
Yeah.
said, the style of how they played them, and
Exactly.
and they
The
maybe
stuff
and they
that
didn't play
Chet
the
Atkins played over those 4 chords
right.
just, I wouldn't say intimidates me. It bullies me.
It what?
It bullies me.
Okay. Slide that
it-
mic a little closer to you.
It shoves me around mentally.
Yeah,
And I'm intimidated by a dude who's been dead for 20 years.
really.
Because the intricacy of his picking was
Right.
phenomenal.
Right.
And then when I'm feeling extra sadistic and want to get depressed by my own abilities, Glenn Campbell and Jerry Reed.
Yeah.
I deep dive a lot into that.
Really. I know Glenn was a great guitar player. Jerry Reed, I know his music, but I never really paid a lot of attention to his guitar playing. But I'm also very much intrigued by guitar players, and I watched yours the other night. You're very, very talented. I mean,
Smoke and mirrors mostly.
well, you also throw a little percussion in on top of that on your guitar playing, which is cool. Which is something that you got to have rhythm, which helps anyway. I mean, you can
Which is hard. I was born white.
and a redhead too, a ginger to boot.
Yeah,
so.
yep.
Yeah, so
Albino through and through. Rhythm did not come naturally.
yeah, you've got to work at it. So as do I. But no, I think you're very talented, and I love I'm with you. I love guitars, and I love the different sounds that come out of those guitars. And I don't know if you're a fan of Steven Wilson Jr., but what a guitar player! And I mean, to make that gut string guitar sound like it does, wow. He's coming here to Pocatello this summer, and
Seriously?
we have tickets. So, yeah, there's not very many shows we buy tickets to anymore. So, fortunately, because of the podcast, we get to go to some things, and so which is nice. But I would buy tickets to go see Steven Wilson Jr. So, Miss Shanda bought them for me. So, but
way to go, Shanda.
yeah, she's that's why she's the producer, right? Because she's got all the brains. Yeah.
Everybody needs somebody like that.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit more about the music. So as that process happened, you learned to play the guitar.
Yeah.
12, 13 years old to sing your song. 15. Okay.
Which for a guitar player is a pretty late bloomer.
Well,
yeah.
No, 60.
When you start getting into jam sessions around these kids who've been playing since they're 5, like Zach Tops from my area.
Mm-hmm.
And that kid was playing circles around me even then.
But he was a bluegrass guy.
12.
Yeah. And he was a bluegrass guy. And those bluegrass guys their finger work is just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd be going all up and down, shredding the neck.
Yeah.
And I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I know Zach is from Toppenish, Washington.
the Sunnyside,
Sunnyside.
But his dad owns the
Toppenish livestock auction. Yeah.
I used to do a cowboy church there every Sunday night.
Oh, okay.
And so we swam in the same circles.
There you go. Well, cool.
Yeah.
So then, at about 15, then how did this thing progress and where did it go?
Basically, I just dived in the deep end and never came up for air.
Sure.
Once I got done with that competition, got me my first manager.
Okay.
Who was way more on the acting side. He was
right.
wanting me to do a bit more in California.
Okay.
And I learned very quickly that I loved my manager. He's a lot like me. He's very old school. But the majority of people in the entertainment industry in California, I do not see eye to eye with. We have a different value system.
Sure.
And I grew tired of it very quickly, even at a young age. And once music started opening doors, I just decided I was going to go fully into that. And in the words of Jerry Van Dyke, I decided to emulate myself and act like me.
Instead of act like someone else.
Exactly.
Right. Might as well act like yourself because everybody else is taken, right?
Exactly.
Why try and improve on someone else when you just improve on yourself?
Bingo.
Yeah, I like that. I
started writing a lot more. Every new chord I learned, I had to write a song to go with it.
Okay.
And
you must have a big catalog then.
It's about 400 songs now.
Good for you. Yeah, that's cool.
Out of which there's maybe 6 or 7 good ones.
Well, we've heard some of them, and there's more than 6 or 7. So I know that
to fill 5.5 albums.
I know that you do that. So yeah, let's go back. Let's talk, because your first album you put out was like in 2011, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
My very first one.
And what was it called?
It was called The Beginning.
The Beginning, which that makes sense, right?
Yep.
Cool.
I recorded that there in Kennewick, Washington.
Okay.
And that opened doors very quickly toward where in the same year I recorded my second album, but it took almost 2 years for it to get released.
Okay.
And I recorded that one in Nashville.
Okay.
With the Beach Boys' first manager.
Oh, really?
Who now owns Treasure Isle Studios there on Berry Hill.
And his name is
Fred Vale.
Fred Vale. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We've had the fortune of spending a little bit of time in Nashville, not a lot, but got to meet Buddy Cannon, who I don't know, Buddy's a kind of a big time producer out there.
Yeah.
So got to interview Buddy and his daughter Marla Cannon Goodman, who's written some #1 hits, and so we've interviewed a lot of songwriters, which I think most everyone we interview, if you're a singer performer, most of you write some music, right? Some are very, very dedicated, like yourself, that's written a lot. A lot of people don't understand about the music industry. They all thought, well, if Luke Combs sang the song, he wrote it, which he didn't. Or George Strait sang the song, he wrote it.
George Strait wrote very few.
Very, very, very few, until the last probably 10 years. He's worked since Bubba, his son, started writing music. He's working with Bubba.
And Bubba's a prolific writer. Him and Dean Dillon were always tied at the hip.
And then we actually got to interview Bryce Long, who's written with Bubba and written stuff and had some cuts with George. So that's been fun to get to hear those stories and the backstories behind the music, and that's what we love. And there's a couple of your songs today that I want to touch on that, but let's move back to the album. So you did two
bouncing around.
Well, and I do that too. ADD. So we're a little ADD, I think, both of us. So, a little jacked
energy
up
drink.
Energy help. Drink. Here we go. So tell us about your energy drink. First form energy.
This is the Screamin' Freedom. My favorite flavor. Tastes like America.
There you go. Red, white, and blue through and through. So let's talk. Let's go back and talk about your albums, because the first one you said opened a lot of doors for you.
Yeah.
Second one came along, but you've only done 2 full albums, correct?
No. I've actually released 6 now.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Okay, because as I looked on your Spotify, those first 2 albums showed up. Everything else shows up as singles.
Yeah, because I never actually bothered to lump them all in.
Okay.
as full albums. I just released them one song at a time.
Okay.
And there are several songs that are only available on the full album as a hard copy.
Okay.
Which is my way of being a greedy capitalist and getting you to buy the album.
Well, there you go. There you go. That's not a bad way to be. Well, that helps to sell albums. Now, let me ask you this, because we've watched as the music industry has transitioned from back in the day, 8 tracks. I mean, vinyl, I grew up with vinyl. Then we transitioned to 8-track, right? But with 8-track, you had to have a book of matches to make it work, because you had to push that in there and wedge
a business card.
A business card.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think you were old enough to even know what an 8-track was, but we used a book of matches underneath to wedge it so it would play. And then we went to the cassettes and then CDs, and now it's all streaming.
Yeah.
So the music industry has really, really changed. Now, you as a songwriter and a performer, that's good, because you own the rights to your music.
Bingo.
And which is
because I own the studio, I always own the masters.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Now, I know you're right there with Taylor Swift, but you know the big story here recently about Taylor. You know, she just recently purchased, because of her latest tour, the Era Tour. Is that what it's called?
Eras, yeah.
Eras Tour. She was able to purchase back her whole catalog.
Yeah.
From Scooter Braun.
Honestly, is a crock of bull, because she could have bought it way back then, but they couldn't come around to her terms.
Okay.
So, well, that and what the heck? Those people don't want to work with me anyway. Scooter is a piece of work.
I've heard stories. So, nonetheless, I'm pretty sure Scooter will probably never be on the podcast either. But yeah, that was all backed by.
Or a believer. But
I mean,
yeah,
his
they're right about him.
His thing is whole backed by a hedge fund. I mean, that's Earth. Oh, they sold it to a hedge fund. That's what it was.
No,
so
that's the dark side of the music industry that I personally, maybe I'm jumping ahead in the interview here, but I can't stand it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people that can't, and we know this much, literally.
Yeah.
But we're getting educated pretty rapid, more so than the average person, right? People don't understand that, you know, how many streams it takes to get you $1.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. On Spotify, it's between 300 and 500.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's 0.0032 cents per stream, right? So,
and it gets actually deeper than that, because some of the, I just recently found out why the math wasn't mathing.
Okay.
There's, so SAG-AFTRA, which is kind of the big performing artists union between actors and producers, everything that kind of goes into the Hollywood side, they run this basically congressionally mandated fund. I'm trying to choose the correct words here and I'm not doing it right, but none of us have a choice. A part of all the royalties from everything goes into the fund. But unless you're one of the bigwigs, you can't access that money.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
that's interesting.
It's often celebrated by independents because, hey, this is supposed to pay out the money to everybody. Good luck.
Yeah.
Never underestimate Congress to get the common man to champion something that only benefits the big guys.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, and maybe at some
very happy.
And maybe at some point that will be that retirement fund that sits there, and then eventually Congress will get their head right and
possibly
and fix it.
Yeah.
And then pay that out. But
I'm not hopeful. But
but at least
I should change that. I am hopeful, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's an interesting business, and I tell people all the time that just like the other night at your deal, you know, they help you, the artist. They pass the tip bucket. You get the opportunity to hustle them over to the merch tent and say, come buy a T-shirt, come buy an album.
Yeah. And I don't know how much of this I should divulge, but what's really fun about the way they do that is I come in for a flat fee.
Sure.
And when they pass the jug, that helps them pay not only me, but bring in other people's toward where, regardless of what else is going on,
sure,
it keeps the musicians paid.
Sure.
Whether, like, maybe there's a fire and half the people can't come next time.
Right. Or whether
they'll still get paid.
Sure.
Well, everybody works their own deal out, but that's the way it is for me, and I love being able to pass that forward a little bit.
I know that that's a unique deal, and every deal is unique.
Yeah.
We
That's a
encourage
really cool one.
we
I love it.
encourage everyone to put a few bucks in the tip bucket. Doesn't
Yeah.
kill anybody. That's a free show,
Yeah.
right? So we spend
And it's one of the better free shows out
oh no,
there.
it's a great free
The
show.
caliber they bring in.
Yeah,
is
yeah,
next
they
level.
bring in some very, very talented artists like yourself, and Lane Bowen, I think, is next week, and Lane is incredibly talented. I don't know if you know Lane personally or
Not
have ever,
personally, no.
but what a talent.
Yeah.
But no, it's cool. But I tell everybody, look, go buy a T-shirt, put 10 or 20 bucks in the tip bucket. Didn't kill you because the show was free. If you like the music and you want to listen to it, even if you stream it, you're streaming it. You're still you're getting the benefit of that. But stream
Exactly.
it, turn it on, and leave it on for a couple of weeks.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Let it play. Let it play.
Dial up the playlists.
We
I got one for everybody: country, western, both genres.
There you go. Both genres, country and western. Well, let me ask you that now that you bring that up. What do you really consider yourself? Because you're kind of you're kind of a mixed bag when it comes to genre.
I'm an odd duck. Basically, I'm country in every aspect that is country.
Okay.
My original taste goes to like Sons of the Pioneers, early Roy Rogers stuff.
Right.
That's where I first just glommed onto music.
Okay.
Before that, I'd always, I guess I should preface, mainstream music was not allowed in our house. My mom had us basically only listen to classical symphonies. And
How many siblings?
2.
Okay.
But I know why you asked that. And yes. Yes, we were homeschooled.
Well, but and once again, but classical music is proven to improve your intelligence.
Yes.
I mean, your learning
it engages
capabilities.
both parts of the brain.
Yeah.
And that still has a huge effect in the way that I compose songs to this day. I'm always trying to match one aspect to another in the way that classical symphonies did. There's rarely ever just one thing going on like there usually is in rock.
Sure.
It's a whole ensemble. And so regardless of which part people's brain they gravitate to, there's always going to be something going on in that side in my music, or at least I try to make that happen.
Speaking of that, and when you connected the two, did you ever get into or listen to Metallica's S&M?
I never did.
Symphony in Metallica. Phenomenal album.
I've casually heard it a little bit here and there, but I've never actually taken the time to listen carefully. Because
we have very eclectic taste in music. Well, I mean, we lean back. Shanda's mom was a songwriter in Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
We have listened to everything from Andrea Bocelli to Alice Cooper to Metallica. But
I'm a huge Alice Cooper fan myself. He's got a killer golf swing.
He does have a killer golf swing, and he's great live, believe it or not. So
he is a phenomenal entertainer.
But
Chris LeDoux was a big fan too.
Oh yeah, well, and we're big fans of Chris's as well, and so, but we like to hear the backstories to why they do the things they do, and why, like you said. So that's cool to know that about your music, is that you try to engage both sides of the brain instead of us just brain dead, half brain dead people, so.
Yeah, because that's why some people, they don't like country music, because what they think is country music typically hangs out in the higher registers, a lot of the treble, the fiddle, the steel guitar, and very super thin, twangy guitars.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people don't like rock because it's very beat-based.
Right.
And there again, it typically hangs out with thicker, but the guitar is a little bit more on the screamy side. So that's going to appeal to that part of the brain.
Right.
And so that is not competing anywhere close. Like, they will never talk to people who hang out in jazz clubs, people who say they hate this or they hate that.
Right.
Because oftentimes their brain is just wired to lean a little bit more towards that direction.
Sure.
And my brain fires on both banks of cylinders.
Sure.
I'm very weird. And so I like to create stuff that's
Well,
going
we say
to
you're
bring
weird.
in
You just
both
have
of
some
those things.
idiosyncrasies that
Yeah, yeah.
not the average person has.
Yeah, it's
And
very eclectic.
yeah, well, and we, I don't know, I guess. But he handed him a guitar and said, "Here, play a song. I'm going to go get a beer." And he goes, "I don't do that." He goes, "Play us a song and sing." He goes, "I don't do that." And he goes, "You better figure out how to do it." Anyway, and he said on the drive back to Kansas, he went, I probably ought to do that. And then he got the opportunity to go do a little bar scene, and in the following just came, but it was just such a natural fit for him because he looks like his dad and he sounds like his dad. And it's
Yeah.
just,
But at the same time, he's got his own thing going on too.
yes,
He's a
he
great
does.
artist in his own right.
He does.
But he definitely has that LeDoux tone.
In fact, I heard I saw a deal this morning on social media. Cale Beasley. Do you know
Name
Cale
sounds
Beasley
familiar.
from Cody, Wyoming? He's a songwriter and a performer, but he is just getting ready to release a new single with Ned. Excited about that one. I heard just a little snippet of it. But we've interviewed both of them, and so we kind of hear the backstories. And then, of course, I don't know if you know the story about One Hand in the Riggin'. Do you know that story?
Not enough.
Go listen. It's posted. I posted on Friday. Brent Hill wrote that song. Brent wrote that song.
Why am I just now finding this out?
Brent Hill wrote that song with the intent to do a duet with Chris, and Chris asked him to do a duet, and it didn't work out timing wise. Y'all need to go watch this episode with Brent Hill, and of course Ned's episode's phenomenal as well. But Brent tells the story, and I don't want to spoil it.
That makes perfect sense.
You've got to listen to this story because Brent wrote it, and Chris cut it, did the audio or did his vocals on it, and it sat in Brent's safe for 20 years.
Yeah.
And then
That's what makes that extra cool to me.
Oh, yeah.
Is that it's not an AI recreation of Chris.
Exactly.
It's Chris.
It's Chris. And that's what everybody wanted to know. Well, this is because Randy Travis's AI version, which is phenomenal, which is a blessing for Randy.
It brought me to tears.
Yeah. It made me cry. Yeah, no, what a great recording. But the story with
good
Brent,
argument for AI.
Yeah, one
makes me sit on the fence.
But you gotta go listen to that story with Brent, because to hear the story about what, kind of how he wrote it, what his motivation was. And there's another guy who owns the majority of his music rights. I mean, in
fact, he was one of my biggest inspirations when I first started going intentionally independent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there, myself included, for many, many years, that were blinded by the grandeur of, the biggest artists.
Sure.
And
the Garth Brooks and the George Straits. And
exactly. And so there's this veil of mystery of how the music industry works. And for a long time, right up until my last deal in Nashville went sour, I always figured I was too stupid to comprehend it. Because there's so many moving parts.
Right. Oh, there's
this and
there's
that.
the publishing,
and
there's
find out
the
what A&R stands for. Turns out nobody knows what repertoire means. I do, but I'm weird. And artists and repertoire dudes actually do nothing with artist or repertoire anymore.
Yeah.
And, then you have, what does a producer actually do? You get conflicting reports depending on who it is.
Sure.
You got, 11 different levels of music industry.
Yeah.
Just in the label context by itself. And then, of course, you have the agencies, which some are part of labels, some aren't.
Oh, yeah.
And they're their own weird, twisted, incestuous world. And then you have the logistics, and that's its own world. And it's all so convoluted, yes, and shrouded in this mystery that, you just go, wow, this is amazing. And the smoke and the lights just capture you toward where you don't notice. It's just machines and bulbs.
Yeah.
And after everything kind of crashed down for me in 2018, in the middle of my divorce as well. So I just dove headlong into the business end to see, where did this go wrong? Why am I such a sucker?
Yeah.
And the more I peeled back everything, I found out that not only do I not know what's going on, the guys in the 3-piece suits in the big offices don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
They don't know which goes where. And when it all boils down to, every business is the same. What we often miss and this is what I learned from really watching Brent Hill, as well as, huge Chris LeDoux fan. I can't absorb
Yeah.
enough of his history. It just really is captivating to me. And a few of the other mentors that are completely unfamous, but still making a living in music. The thing that is most overlooked and never talked about is that the music business is exactly the same as any other business. There's somebody with a product, and there's a customer.
Yep.
There's a place where we meet. If the customer likes what I'm making, and I make a good interaction, a good impression, and I treat them like they want to be treated, they'll give me certificates of appreciation with presidents' faces on them.
There you go.
And that gives me what I need to go and make more of what they love.
want.
And
Yeah.
that's the simplicity and the beauty of it. And Brent Hill has really made a great life and living off that simple principle.
Sure.
Making cowboy music, which
Right.
many would say, especially in Nashville, would say there's not much of a market for it.
Well,
Clearly there's
no,
enough.
there's a huge market for it, because I think you've experienced the cowboy poetry
Yeah.
deal there, and it's no different than the songwriter deal. There are people who are fans of songwriters that won't go to a concert. They want to know who wrote the song and what the story is behind the song.
Exactly.
They want to know the story. I heard, oh my gosh, just go down the list. Bryce, Marla, Aaron Ratier. Aaron Ratier tell the story about You Look Like You Love Me that he wrote with Ella Langley,
Yeah.
while Ella's wolfing down spaghetti, and hear the story behind it.
She made a comment. He's like, let's reverse that.
and
Let's
so
make that a good thing.
it's just fun to hear that, right? But there are people, so there are people who only go to the Cowboy Poetry Gathering in Elko or to Juab or wherever the
We
Cowboy
used to have a
Poetry.
big one there in Kennewick and Tri-Cities.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it shut down for several different reasons.
There's
It wasn't because there wasn't people coming.
Yeah. Well, those things evolve, right? And
Yeah.
they change. And, luckily for Elko, it's gone on for 40 years. But,
Yeah.
Western
Weirdly
folk
enough,
life is.
I was born there, lived there for 10 years. Never been.
You've never been.
Never been.
You got to go. You need
It's
to
on my
go.
bucket list.
Here's the deal. You as an artist and as a singer-songwriter, one, you can apply to be an artist there.
Mhm.
And two, they have the open mic. So it's worth going just to go and then go do the open mics. And then you get invited back. Zach
My
Mark.
problem is it's always during my busy season.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm always going somewhere where they cut
They
me a
actually
check.
paying you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I think they pay those guys when they get on that level, right?
Yeah.
They get on this.
Yeah.
But hey,
I just
listen,
gotta get as famous as
we,
Dave State.
Stamey's pretty famous and
I
he's
know.
a cool guy. We are running, you've been so gracious with your time. Thank you so much. And we can talk, I've really enjoyed this and we could talk for another hour and a half. It's just that most people won't listen to you and I talk for much longer than
I don't blame them.
We'd consider ourselves a little bit weird too, because Miss Shanda's a big disco fan, right?
Mhm.
Me, not so much, but I've endured it for the last 43 years because she loves it, right? And so have our children. And so, but we've seen Cher live. We've seen ZZ Top live. We've seen our love of music is really truly the live scenario. So that's what we tell everybody about the podcast, is that this is our sharing our love of live music and that live music experience. And you'd be amazed, and maybe you wouldn't because you're a performer and you meet people all the time, but there are a lot of people who've never seen a live show.
Yeah.
And or for the first time they see a live show, they're like, wow, this is different than listening to the radio, which it's
And
very
that's
different.
one of the things that I hold as a very high responsibility is, what if I'm the first live show that somebody's seen? And I have been.
Sure.
I want to make sure that I am doing my best to make that a great memory.
Sure.
Because the first show I ever saw, still the only one I've ever paid to get into, was Josh Turner.
Really?
He played Happy Canyon in 2007.
In Pendleton.
Yeah. I scored $100 on a radio contest. I was first to call in, and I spent it all on Josh Turner tickets.
Oh my goodness.
Took my whole family. It was great.
Oh my goodness.
And I was already a fan of the music,
Sure.
but once I saw his live performance and the way that, you know, when he does Long Black Train,
Right.
the seats rumble.
Right.
You feel like a train's going by. You're pulled into this different world for
It's an
2 hours.
experience.
Exactly. And I just decided that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And then one thing I can credit my ex-wife with, she gave me Chris LeDoux as an obsession.
Okay.
I'd always casually known Chris LeDoux.
Sure.
But it was botched because of my mother liked to listen to things at a very low volume.
Mm-hmm.
And the only Chris LeDoux I'd ever been exposed to at that point was his live album.
Okay.
Which low volumes did not do justice.
No.
And our EQ was wonky in the car too. So it just was this echoey, trebly mess.
Yeah.
And my ex-wife was a huge, huge Chris LeDoux fan.
Okay.
Almost as much as I am now.
Yeah.
Because here was this dude, like I said, I started with Sons of the Pioneers, coming into it later than most people. It wasn't my grandpa's music. It was my music.
Okay.
Because somebody gave me a box set of Roy Rogers cassette tapes. Yes, I'm that old. And I loved the music. It was cowboy music. I come from cowboys.
Right.
And then I was in my early 20s when I really discovered Chris LeDoux's music.
Right.
And he merged it with this high energy rock and roll.
Right.
That just appealed to that adventurous side of me, that took that classic cowboy style and supercharged it toward where you're not just singing cowboy songs to an electric guitar and drums. You're at the rodeo.
Oh no,
you're riding the bronc.
Well, it's because he was a world champion. He knew that. He lived it. He experienced it. But his early stuff was not like that.
No. His early stuff was very traditional.
Very, very traditional.
And he has a very split set of fans that feel very strongly in some ways about that.
Yeah, no, I'm good with all of it.
Me too.
When Life is a Highway came out, that was more rockin', and that was really, and Cadillac Ranch.
Popular opinion, Life is a Highway is the most overrated song on that album, and that album is epic.
Oh yeah, true. But he had some great
Road Man album.
I don't remember what album it is, but
the deep cuts of Chris LeDoux are where I really like the rest of the albums. That man was so amazing. Even the stuff he didn't write.
Oh yeah, well he didn't write Life is a Highway.
No.
But that, and we've gotten more into that because as we talk about this, it's interesting because you're a songwriter and we're talking about songwriters and guys who wrote music but also did cuts of other artists.
Yeah.
But we've attended several songwriter festivals. And we're headed actually next week to Red Lodge. I get to interview some songwriters on stage during the whole event. But we get to interview Tony Arata, who wrote The Dance. Get to interview Win Varble, who wrote Waiting on a Woman. And Kim Ritchie, who's a Hall of Famer. They're all, and James Dean Hicks is going to be there. He had 7 number ones, I think. He had 3 with the Oak Ridge Boys, and so. But it's a whole different experience. A songwriter round or songwriter experience versus a concert, at a concert, somebody's,
which has its own different experience because
totally.
Now it's kind of the difference between watching like Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
Or watching a World War II documentary. My brain goes wild for both.
Right.
But for very different reasons.
Yeah.
Because here's the stories, here's the realism, here's the what actually happened.
Right.
And my job in doing a concert is to just pull them into a different world and make them part of it for a minute. But both of those things, I would say, are equally as valid.
Yeah, and they're so different because your show at the park is, there's maybe, I don't know, was there 300 people there, 200 or 300 people, and of course you got kids running in front of the stage and squealing and making noise and trying to get as much attention as you are, right? And
they add their own ambience to it.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting situation, but you go to a country jam in Colorado last year. We were there. It's 20,000 people there. For me, it's way too too big, too many people, too much going on, right?
Yeah.
We like the smaller festival, but we love the Songwriter Festival because there's not a guy pouring a beer down my neck, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
somebody yakking behind me while I'm trying to listen to your music,
Yeah.
or the kids
And the
running back and
stories
forth in
behind it,
front of
yeah.
the, you know, and your situation was you like to share the story behind the song as you get to do that. You're as a performer, even with, and I don't know how much you tour with the band. Do you tour with the full band
I
much?
used to, and I'm looking to start doing it again.
Okay.
The main thing is I just got tired of firing guitarists,
Yeah.
which is part of why I started becoming a better guitarist, was
Sure.
just to fill that void.
Sure.
But musicians, the worst part about being in the music industry is having to deal with musicians, because you find
Without the
these guys
musicians,
who
there's
are
no music industry.
incredibly talented,
Yeah.
laziest people.
Sure.
And I have a rule that no one's allowed to be lazier than me in my
Okay.
organization.
There you go.
And I was spoiled with my first band because right out of high school, my drummer and my bass player were phenomenal.
Sure.
We did a lot of three-piece stuff. And there again, attributing to the eclecticness of what made me me. My bass player, he was in his mid-40s at that point, so he was kind of our fun grandpa.
Sure.
And my drummer, who was only a year older than me, I poached him from a heavy metal worship band.
Oh, wow. That doesn't go together.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I saw him at a battle of the bands, which I later found out is not where country artists should hang out, but you know, you learn.
Yeah.
And I had no chance of winning. It was weird, but I met him, and I'm watching him. The rest of the band was tearing their stuff off the stage, and he does this 3.5-minute drum solo that never got old.
Wow.
I'm just playing the drums as an instrument.
Sure.
That rewired my brain on the spot.
Sure.
To a point where I don't really get along with a lot of traditional country drummers now, because if something can just keep the beat, I can get a drum machine to do that.
Sure.
I want something that's actually going to play it as if it's an instrument, which, weirdly enough, goes back to my training as, or not my training, but my upbringing in classical.
Okay.
Because the timpanis don't keep the beat. They bring up the percussion and it help mount an emotion.
Right.
So
It
they
builds.
bring things down or they shoot
Build,
it up,
yeah.
and the snare and the timpani don't even hang out in the same place on stage.
Okay.
And so I like drums that are played as if they're part of their own instrument.
Okay.
Everything has a rhythm and a lead moment.
Sure. Sure.
But like I said, I'm weird.
Well.
And Chris LeDoux really unchained that bit of me, because
Yeah.
KW Turnbow and Mark Sissel, master rhythmists and also soloists.
Yeah.
And then later,
We actually got to meet Mark because he now manages Ned.
Yeah.
And we got to interview Ned, so that was cool.
Yeah, I got to share the stage with him a couple years ago, and that was one of my all-time highs in life, was getting to sit and chat with Mark Sissel.
Yeah. Well, and you know, Ned was essentially was a drummer. He never was planning on being a frontman, not even after his dad died.
Yeah, I forgot the situation.
That was kind of accidental.
Yeah, well, surprisingly, Ned's life is a myriad of blessings based on accident.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't supposed to be a drummer either, from the way it was told to me, but he was a kid, and Chris LeDoux's main drummer got sick, I think. Don't quote me on this, and Ned just kind of was.
Well, when Ned was little, Ned shared the story with me. So, well, I don't know whether it was a full story, but he said when he was like 5, he was so enamored by the drum set. He said his dad's drummer had a yellow set, had a yellow kit, and he said, I just watch him set that up, and he said I would just watch him warm up, and he said I just loved it. And finally, he said he just brought me over and sat me down and said, here, and he just started teaching him some things, and then he got his own kit, I think when he was 5 or 6. And then it just built from there. But then his very first concert he ever played with his dad in the band was right here in Pocatello, Idaho.
Seriously.
Right here in Pocatello at the Mini Dome. and he got to play. And that maybe it was is because I think at one point they had 2 drummers. Wasn't there 2 kits in the band?
From the way I was told, yeah.
And so I think he
And it
filled
kinda
in,
just
and then it just kind of
merged into
evolved.
just Ed.
But then when Chris passed, he was asked to go out and play with, I think, with Mark and some other guys,
Yeah,
some
Western
guys
Underground.
that were playing that had opened for Chris for years. And he said after the show they were just sitting around, and he said, and I think it was Mark, someone either, do me a favor, grab that Teton guitar and play us a little ditty, if you would. You kind of set it up. Tell me what you got. I'll tell you what, we didn't even really get to talk about your songs. What's one of your favorite that you've written?
Oh,
Obviously, I only want what you've written that's your favorite.
where do I even start? Well, it goes in different moods, you know. Is it
Sure.
my favorite one that gets me, you know, deep into the feels, as it were,
Sure.
or one that's, you know, historically significant for me, or the one that, you know, changed everything, which would be You Thought Wrong, where people really like streaming that one.
Yeah, that's
Then
one of your
again,
biggest
Hole in the
streaming-
Canyon, which I didn't think would go anywhere.
Yeah.
Then again, I didn't write that one. It was written by my dad's vet, or my granddad's vet rather. And
Well, here's one. Let me ask you this. So tell us a real quick story about, we're in Pocatello, Idaho. You got a fairly new song, was released last fall. Pocatello. Great story, or great song. What's the story behind Pocatello?
weirdly enough, it's not one of my better stories because it's mostly based on fiction.
Okay.
But I wrote it for the people here that have been here for me for a long time.
Sure.
So there's Easter eggs in there if you know the area of Pocatello.
Sure.
Friends of mine owned the Oasis bar,
Yep.
and that was always one of my favorite hangouts. So I always wanted to put that in a song.
That's the one that burnt down, did it?
No.
No. That one's still there.
going. Well, it's still there, but it's shut down.
Okay.
They wanted to spend more time with their kids.
Okay.
Who were getting at that age, they don't want to miss stuff.
Sure.
But you know, I talk about making T-shirts up the road. Well, I'm talking about Alston's T-shirt printing
Right,
and embroidery,
right.
who does all of my merch.
Right.
And you know, certain things like the new Ram Longhorn. Well, that's my best friend's truck,
Okay.
and I always give him flack about that truck, so I had to
Throw that in
had
there.
to throw it in there and let him know it actually is a pretty sweet ride.
Yeah. Cool.
So, and then I just tied it all into this sad love story. I just imagined myself, you know, being probably back down in Nevada somewhere, working in a mine, and a girl from Idaho just would probably want to come back here. And that little story that I concocted just wound up with this song. I stood in your taillights and watched you leave. Said the life I live ain't the one you wanted to lead. Said it didn't have a thing to do with how much you did or didn't love me, but where I was wasn't where you want to be. So you went back home to Idaho, and that's where you want to stay. Well, I called you up today, but seems your number's changed. Well, I just called to say I'm in Pocatello, down by the railroad, that old bar we used to love. The Oasis were almost famous, sound checking and cranking up, cold beer in my hand, your favorite still on tap. Just in case you're missing me and want us back, you know right where to go. Pocatello. Got a job printing T-shirts up the road. Found a real nice place to live at a price I could afford. I'm doing pretty good for the hour and minute, but life would be better with you back in it, and you look good in the cab of my new Ram Longhorn. Everyone at our old home knows my name. I've made new friends, but every night I sit in the back alone, just hoping you'd walk in. Pocatello, down by the railroad, that old bar we used to love. The Oasis, we're almost famous. Sound checking and cranking up, cold beer in my hand, your favorite still on tap. Just in case you're missing me and want us back, you know right where to go. Pocatello. I'm in Pocatello, down by the railroad, that old bar we used to love. The Oasis, we're almost famous. The sound checking and cranking up, cold beer in my hand, your favorite still on tap. Just in case you're missing me, you want us back, you know right where to go. Baby, you know right where to go. Pocatello. Pocatello.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Before you put that back in the rack, put your John Hancock. I think
John Hancock. I do a pretty good John Hancock.
But-
Oprah's better, but I can sign it John Hancock if you want.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Man, this has been fun. It's
been very
always
fun.
it's
Thank
always
you.
fun to get to hear the stories and
You want that?
we'll trade you.
I'll
Yeah.
put the marker back on the stand and hand that back.
There you go. So where can we find all your music? Tell everybody where everything's available.
You can find it on Spotify, Apple Music, calemoon.com.
Yep. Yeah.
Amazon, iHeartRadio, let's see, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, YouTube, eHarmony, Match.com, Farmers Only, Tinder, Equestrian Singles, Plenty of Fish, Christian Mingle, gluten-free singles. That's my craft. You can find that at your local Safeway or Kroger. And that's sorry.
Yeah,
Carry away. That last one don't exist.
Plus at the merch tent, right?
At the merch tent.
So they can find your schedule. You're going to be doing a bunch of fairs. So
Yeah.
you're going from here back to Oregon.
Yep.
You're
Playing a show at the old Armory, the convention center for the VFW.
Yep.
So
Yep.
raising money for a good cause.
So when you get to town, make sure you go tell my good friend Pat Beard I said hello.
Will
That
do.
we got to sit down and visit because Pat's very much involved in that. So and then you go from there. You've got the fair circuit. So you're busy on the fair circuit till really September. It looked like your schedule's pretty full till September. So.
Yep. And then I take a little bit of time off, take care of my granddad, and
Good.
keep the old family ranch from burning down.
There you go. Well, Cale, thank you again so much. This has been a lot of fun. And we are in Pocatello, and that is a great song, and I really enjoy it. I was tickled when you released it. I first thing I did was download it, and so it's on my playlist. But thank you for your time. It's been great. We look forward to seeing you somewhere down the road. For Musical Miles Podcast, I'm your host, Byron Duff, and Cale Moon. We'll see you later. Adios for now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.